Yep, we're doing this again. Seemingly back to back. Well, not really back to back, but... It's quarantine, we're all desperate for content to pass the time, and this is something I actually enjoy doing. So enough trying to justify y'all enabling my delusions, let's carry on with the recasting. And since The Secret of the Lost Kingdom is the conclusion to the first 3 seasons story, and it only provides a couple new characters, we're gonna be covering the movie as well. Okay? Okay, let's go. First, let's begin with everyone's favorite sorcerer, Naboo. Oh, I'm sad now. Oh, fuck, everything hurts. But as per usual, it was important to me to make sure characters of color had voice actors matching their background. Yes, even within the realm of my own delusions. And after some research into anime voice actors, I elected to go with Jalen Castle as Naboo. Cassell? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Oh, I'm sorry if I fucked that up. Interestingly enough, Jalen is not only a voice actor, but also a writer for ADR scripts and adaptations for different anime dubs. I just mentioned all this because I find it cool. You know, fellow writer stuff. But Jalen's voiced in several projects that I have not seen, but some of the more popular ones seem to be Darius from Magi, The Labyrinth of Magic. I say Magi, I don't know how other people pronounce it. I've heard it as Magi. Abengane from Hunter x Hunter, and Junya Kaneshiro from Persona 5. Am I admitting I have not seen Hunter x Hunter, nor played Persona 5? Yes, but I deal in honesty, children, even if that means y'all will want me dead. And to resume that honesty, Jalen is clearly talented and has a smooth, charming voice that I would say would fit the beloved sorcerer from Andros quite well.
Spirits of the forest, remove the unclean nin that is now possessing my body.
Next up, Lord Hogan of the Shining Steel, aka Oratel's old friend who's become a complete recluse. And for him, I have chosen James Garrett. Avatar fans, I will give you a few moments to cry with joy, because for the uninitiated, Hogan would be portrayed by none other than Avatar Roku.
If you are killed in the Avatar's state, the reincarnation cycle will be broken, and the Avatar will cease to exist.
Funnily enough, the archetypes of a former master who feel that they have failed at their jobs and let others down actually applies to both Roku and Hogan. And now, for the Steven Universe fans, we've got the legend, the icon, Queen Estelle as Aisha's mother, Queen Niobe of Andros.
I have weaknesses too, but I choose not to let them consume me. I struggle to stay strong because I know the impact I have on everyone.
This was actually pitched by a comment on a recent video, which I'm gonna have to go hunting for. I'm sorry, future self, I know you will curse my name, but let's be real, who wouldn't want Garnet as a goddamn queen? Oba Babatunde, meanwhile, would be keeping his role as King Terador from the Nick dub.
I admire your courage, and I hope it's true, Aisha. I'm afraid his magic is just too powerful for any of our weapons.
As well as Andre Soyuzo as King Radius.
Solaria is fine, and so am I. Now if you will excuse me.
And Jessica DiCicco as Flora's younger sister, Mile.
Well, I spoke with the elders like you asked. The sage is expecting you. We need to go to the City of Trees where she's waiting for us.
All 3 of these actors did a wonderful job, and for me, they already are the dream picks. Look, as we have established, the Nick dub is legitimately filled with wonderful voice actors, very talented people. I'm sorry, I don't brew the tea, I just serve it. And as we move into villain territory, we'll get the reprisals out of the way. We are keeping Josh Keaton as Valtor because Josh is just the best Valtor.
Whenever your friends look into your eyes, they will be reminded of the high price you paid when you dared confront the mightiest!
I'm sorry, I don't make the rules, this is just objective fact. He got Valtor's suave demeanor down to a science, and we have no choice but to stand.
In the name of Valtor, may you be enwrapped by the eternal darkness!
Likewise, Cassandra and Chamira are keeping Katsusi and Rachel McFarlane respectively from the Nick dub.
Don't think for a minute that this is over, Winx Club fairies! Untie me and I'll show you what real magic can do!
Chamira, the what's in your life, zip it!
Kath does a great job with Cassandra as this uptight mother figure who will literally murder to get herself and her daughter into power, while Rachel takes Cassandra Lee Morris' portrayal of Chamira as the ultimate brat from the 4Kids dub to a more mature, more sinister level.
You, get to work on this hair, and you, I want my skin more radiant than the sun. Is that clear?
I need my beauty rest. The next time something like this happens, I won't be so nice. Do you understand?
And now we move on to the 3 ancestral witches. And for this, we kinda have to acknowledge that most installments in the franchise tend to treat this terrible trio as one single entity, rather than 3 individual witches. Hell, their names, Belladonna, Listless, and Tharma, from my understanding, were only provided by supplemental material. While this is the case, I still want to make sure that the persona of each witch matches her respective descendant. Belladonna for Icy, Listless for Darcy, and Tharma for Stormy. So for Belladonna, the cruel and ruthless leader of the Ancestresses, I went with Laura Stahl, aka Ray from the Promised Neverland. Ray actually isn't the best example to give, but it's definitely the one most people will recognize. A voice that Laura has done that would better fit Belladonna's persona, that I discovered from Google McMoogling in the magical land of IMDb, would be Empress Siren from Shantae and the Seven Sirens, where she weirdly doesn't speak all that much, but what she does speak is big creepy as fuck.
I will live forever and beyond.
For Listless, meanwhile, I chose Tress MacNeil, who you might know as Dot from Animaniacs.
They threw me in prison to rot, along with my brothers and sisters. They deserve the same. You must carry on my work.
Oh shoot, did I say Dot? The example I meant to give was the blood-curdling Hama from Avatar: The Last Airbender. No? Blood-curdling? Not funny? I tried. But do I need to say anything other than blood-bending old witch to sell you on this one? I don't. And for the final witch, we've got Andy Rich. Ah, fuck, it rhymed. But Andy voiced Sailor-led Crow in the Viz dub of the final season of Sailor Moon. And yes, Crow is much younger than the ancestral witches, but I think Andy's raspy voice could easily be seen as an older version of Kimberly Brooks' performance as Stormy.
If I unleash this black hole, it'll certainly swallow this school. There's a festival happening now, isn't there? I wonder how many visitors there are.
Now, perhaps the least cared about villain of the whole franchise, Mondragora, keeper of the Obsidian Circle. Sadly, Mondragora has suffered from really cheesy, melodramatic performances in both the Dubbing Brothers
Bestow upon your humble servant the power of dark energy, and I'll leave this cold prison of the Obsidian Circle
and Nickelodeon versions of the first movie.
If you transfer the power of dark energy to me, I will leave this cold prison of the Obsidian Circle.
Which seemed to come down more to her direction than her casting. So, if her voice actress were ideally directed to remain the threatening villain she was meant to be, who would I pick? Well, that one's easy, actually. Wendy Malick, aka Ida the Owl Lady.
Get over it! You had your guard stalk me and then you cut off my head. I am not going out with you.
Maybe a bit theatrical, but Wendy's not gonna make Mondragora into the laughingstock of a character that the official dubs turned her into. Moving on to the side characters, let's again get the reprisals over with. We're keeping Lorraine Newman as Queen Ligeia.
Cyrenix is an ancient power of the fairies, but no fairy has achieved Cyrenix for a very long time. The last one to hold it was a fairy called Daphne.
Laura Bailey as Princess Tressa, and Jim Cummings as the ice spirits guarding the Mirror of Truth.
You must seek the Mirror of Truth. You will find it as soon as you find yourself, and it will break the spell only if you touch its heart.
Lorraine and Jim both fit their roles very well, and come on, it's Laura Bailey. She's a voice acting legend. Not to mention, her voice for Tressa is nothing like the performance I would envision she'd have for Darcy, so we don't really need to worry about repeating voices here.
I will fight with you, Nereus.
Moving on, we've got Jessica Paz as Princess Galatea, aka...
I'm Lapis Lazuli!
She really wants you to know who she is. Jokes aside, though Galatea does not sing at any point, which is a crime, I felt it would be fitting to give the Princess of Melody a voice actress who was musically inclined. That and Lapis' smooth, refined voice would really suit Galatea as the prim and proper princess who's a bit too reckless for her own good, and yet we love her. Oh my god, she's such a fan favorite.
You actually talked to me. You helped me. It's Steven, right?
I will say I'm gonna miss the Scottish accent she had in the Cinelume dub because, from my understanding, it wasn't because they decided it would just fit her archetype. It just sort of happened.
I, Galatea, Princess of Melody, order you to surrender. You may remain standing. My sound sphere will be knocking you down.
You know, it's not like Tecna where they're like, ooh, smart, make her British. Ugh, Disgusting. Then we've got Nova, the gossiping fairy who makes sure Stella's up to date on all Cassandra and Chamira's bullshit. And for Nova, I went with Tara Jane Sands, who I know fondly as Philia Ul Kopt from Slayer's Try.
Our original choice gave us this letter to give to you.
Though Philia is a very uptight character, I can see her being able to communicate Nova's love for gossip. Next pit stop on our grand tour de Delusion, Pyros, the Island of Dragons. Here we've got Buddy, Bloom's inner dragon and most adorable little mascot since Kiko. And for this little cinnamon roll, who better than Zach Callison, aka Steven Universe himself.
So I guess you could say it's a balanced breakfast?
Am I going for this for a Steven Universe Easter egg? Oh, absolutely, I have no shame in admitting that. But come on, tell me you would not love to hear Steven's voice coming out of this little baby dragon for like just an episode. Oh, it's so precious. And also can make us forget the horrors of Steven Universe Future. We thought everything was happy and then... oh no! Then we've got Maya, Bloom's mentor who helps her get in touch with her powers. And for Maya, I went with Sally Richardson Whitfield, a former acting legend who has actually moved into directing. I was actually originally gonna go with Sally for Aisha, but I think she would be more suited to a wise, one-time character like Maya. And for a reference for her voice, may I present Detective Elisa Massa from Disney's Gargoyles.
So 1,000 years ago, you were betrayed by the one human you trusted. Does anyone else know about you?
There are so many shows I have to watch. Our last three characters are all mysterious entities of great power. The Sage of Linfea, Tabok the Wise, and Arcadia, the first fairy in all the magical universe and ruler of the Golden Kingdom. For the Sage of Linfea, I chose Mary McGlynn, who voices Queen Metalia in the Viz dub of Sailor Moon.
Ridiculous! Sailor Moon is inside me! She belongs to the darkness now!
Just have Mary give a less terrifying performance, and you've got the weird sage lady who just chills in a waterfall 24/7.
Nice and cozy. How odd to hear you speak that way. I've never seen this side of you, Clark.
And finally, Cree Summer as Arcadia. Many of you might know Cree from the myriad of roles she's had over the years, such as Number 5 from Codename Kids Next Door, Susie from Rugrats, and Princess Kita from Atlantis the Lost Empire. Cree basically owns a stake in your childhood.
It is said that the gods became jealous of Atlantis. They sent a great cataclysm and banished us here.
She also voices Hagar in Voltron, which, okay, you have to admit, the voice acting was one of the few undeniably good parts of that tragic show. Cree's range is incredible, and I would love to see how she'd handle an ancient, ethereal being like Arcadia. So, yeah, that's the first 3 seasons and the movie recast. Will we be doing season 4? Of course! Y'all need more content, and I have to see this through to the end. Otherwise, my obsessiveness will never let me hear the end of it, and my trove of useless knowledge shall never be used. Anyhow, if you enjoyed this and would like to see more content like this from me, then be sure to not only check out my other videos, but also to subscribe and ring that bell for notifications because YouTube hates creators. Also, please consider, if you are willing and able to, pledging your support to myself and the channel over on Patreon. I'm the Unicorn of War, and fuck 2020.